Welcome. Thank you for joining me here today. I want to be doing more videos, and I'm not sure how often I'm going to release them, but I was just thinking about something that has popped up for me a lot with explaining to people and such, and I wanted to bring it up with everybody just so that you can get some understanding about this topic, which is very important, and it will create some perspective also for a number of things, how you fit in with life and such, but it's a very simple topic, and it's basically that it's to be happy with your own existence. What gives some context on it is that in the scope of our world, there are beings who are more advanced and less advanced, right? But what fascinates me a lot is that even if despite where you are, and advanced, I always have to explain this, advanced doesn't mean that you're better than or whatever. It just means that you have more ability. Your soul is more mature. And what really does fascinate me quite a bit is that you can have a very advanced being and they're not happy ultimately with their own life and their own being, which causes them to try to take and manipulate other people. So what I want to talk about, what I want to bring to your attention is this quality of being happy with your own existence. And this is a very deep healing for many to hear it, and it's kind of simple, and it's kind of like, how does this matter? There's a cat walking over here. Hey, kitty. But it is to be meow meow. Hey. Okay. To be happy with your own existence. And it's really important because it's like this cat just decided to come over, and we can delight in the company of other beings, and like this cat just wants to be pet and and wants to be loved and to be appreciated and to cuddle. And what's so funny is that, when we become more advanced, we can tend to put down others. It happens a lot. It happens with a lot of our community, with our lightworker family. When you become, like, say, a president, or when you become like CEO of a company, you think that all these other beings, they don't have something right within them. And that perception is a very tragic perception. And it doesn't create any happiness. And so this is kind of like a reminder, because when you become happy with your life and who you are in your own existence, you really get to the core of a new relationship that you will have with God. And because all these beings are birthed from Him, they are created by Him. Even if you think that something wasn't or whatever, is still there. And so to be happy with what is a very powerful lesson. Now, it is also more complicated than you might think, because it has, it's obviously created some level of confusion, and for many people, for many beings, and I don't want to limit it to just humans. And that kind of gets to, like, our topic of some people, as they start waking up, they realize that there's other beings at play, and whether they're aliens, which is not really a word that I like, because the word alien means that they're other, that's like the definition of it. But beings who don't live the way that you are used to living, or in places that you're familiar with. Our universe is very big, and that's the beauty of unconsciousness. The beauty of unconsciousness is that it makes it possible in a simple way to kind of be where you're at, because you're not aware of so many other options and opportunities. So that's the challenge when you become aware of, even heaven on earth, for example, or heaven or other places. You suddenly can get a huge dissatisfaction with what is. Now, to create heaven on earth, you actually have to become happy with what is, because that tends to your own vibrational state. It doesn't mean that we are ambivalent about things, of course. It doesn't mean that if we see some kind of travesty, okay, what's happening? It doesn't mean that if we see some kind of travesty or something that isn't healthy, that we don't tend to it. But it is, there's been a misunderstanding of how we tend to it. Obviously, there's time when action is appropriate. There's also a time when it's beyond your means to physically interact with a solution. So that's where we enter into vibrational states of your being and your presence. That creates a shift within the whole scope of consciousness. We strengthen the vibration of contentment. And what that does is that doesn't allow for as many pathways into dissatisfaction, because we're strengthening it. So therefore that's creating that change that you wanted. It's much deeper than that, but I think that you might get a little gist of it. Let me see if there's something else for me to explain on that. So let's say that, you start becoming aware of all these things that should be changed, for example, right? And then kind of, obviously you can look around and see what you do have and what's here for you to appreciate. What is there for you to appreciate? And yet at the same time, what's happening? You're changing your vibrational state. You're in a more of a state. I always forget the name. The Hicks, the channel, the Hicks, whatever, the Hicks system, whatever it is. I'm sorry, I'm totally botching that. Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks talks a lot about that vibrational state, and that's a totally true thing, where we are tending to our vibration. And that's where a lot of people get off track. Like I said, they see something and then they start attacking it, or they becoming very fearful of it, or they start getting all up in arms about it. Certainly, taking action is appropriate, like I said, at times. But we're not always aware of what the action is. And the action most specifically that you have the most control over is your vibrational state. What does this do? What this does is this allows for the healing to happen within what you do have control over, what you do have influence over immediately. And as you expand your consciousness and your abilities, you will be able to have a greater influence. But it doesn't really matter. That's not really a topic for you to really worry that much about, because you're going to be wherever you're at, and it's not like, and if you start trying to do stuff that you're not capable of or able to influence, then you're going to just feel sad and you're going to feel depressed, and therefore you're losing that critical piece that you can have influence over, which is your which, like I said, is your vibrational state. Truly, you know what? Here's a good example of how this kind of works in a very practical sense with technology. Like our cell phones, they communicate over great distances, and even a lot of people are worried about the 5G frequencies and Wi-Fi radiation, which is all totally, that's not healthy stuff. However, it does provide a good analogy for understanding that vibration is affecting you, and it is part of everything. And so really what we have to look at is harmonic vibration. So harmonic, we can have all that technology, you can use harmonic frequencies that will actually energize the body and heal and nourish the system. Yes, yes, yes. But so I don't want people to kind of, I mean, it's not even, to me, that type of technology is really just at this point in time, it's just it's best used to understand that telepathy and ability to communicate over vast distances is very accessible. But if your field is so cluttered with stuff, ideas that other people have imprinted on you, then you're not going to be able to maintain a clear enough state to receive information. And that's something we're not going to get too much into. We'll probably get into it other times. But that, meditation is beautiful for that. And and all of that. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending you lots of wishes of happiness and contentment with your existence. I'm sending you many blessings, no matter where you are at, who you think you are, and whatever problems you see in the world. There is a way for you to participate in supporting all of humanity and all of this reality, and it comes down to tending to your own happiness, being happy as you are, without any agenda, without any expectation, without any demands. Thank you. Blessings.